I think that like your previous background is definitely like valuable, even though it was like with another like industry or country or like different language. It doesn't really matter. You still had those like experience, and you still have that skill set that you can, you just need to adjust it to this like new environment. And yes, it takes time, but eventually it will work out.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Pixelated Perfect. Today, I have a very special guest, Zhenya. And Zhenya, why don't you pronounce her name for everyone too? Because I want to make sure that you're pronouncing it. I'm pronouncing it correctly.
Oh, thank you so much. You're actually pronouncing it perfect. So it's Zhenya, the same as you just pronounced it. Thank you so
Perfect.
much.
Okay, I love it. I love it. So Zhenya, we are going to talk a little bit about you. And right now, you are an experienced designer at Adobe Express, which is awesome. Excited to dive in deeper there. You also are actively mentoring, and right now you're a mentor on ADP List. We've had many people on the podcast also from ADP List, so we love chatting with mentors from ADP List. You have a background in marketing, and then you made this career switch into product design, which is super fascinating. And I know there's a lot of listeners out there that probably are excited to hear a little bit more about your story. And I know another big thing is that you are a self-taught designer. So you don't have a degree anywhere, you picked it up, you obviously found your niche, and you're killing it. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me here. I'm super excited to be here.
Yay, awesome. So with a lot of these podcasts, I usually start with the same question, and I really love kind of diving deeper. So this is, especially knowing your career switcher, I think this will be interesting. So my question to you is, when did design come into your life?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it actually came pretty early in my life. So I went to like art school for children back in Russia, and I started like for I think like 5 years, so from age like 10 to 15. And then it was a more, I would say, safer career journey to pursue something in like economics or marketing or finance. So I discovered marketing and I graduated. I have a master's in marketing, and I've been working in this field like for years. But I always like had this thought about like maybe someday I will do something to jump into design. And I work with designers a lot, especially when I was in like tech companies. I was so fascinated to see what product designers do and how they collaborate with engineers, with product owners, with marketing managers too. And so that actually was a starting point for me when I moved from Russia to United States in 2017. I started to like pick up some like articles or YouTube videos, like YouTube tutorials to basically like familiarize myself with this like whole product design world. But I did not make, very active like movements towards that goal. So that happened in 2020 when pandemic hit, and I was like working from home as a marketing manager at the agency back then. And I think I was able to spend more and more time like learning about design, like trying to do something myself in Figma and other tools. And I immediately like was drawn to it, and I just decided that I need to like teach myself to do it right, like from like the very like first research phase to the very like executional part. So I just like decided to create this like student project for myself, and that was the app for finding a veterinarian for your pet. So it's kind of like ZocDoc, but for pet parents. And I just like did the whole, path. So I talked with my friends who like had cats or dogs to like discover their pain points with this like specific subject, and then like analyze the competitors and how this like problem is like has been solved back then. And then like I did the whole process of like sketching and ideating, and with this like amazing resource which is YouTube, I learned a ton of like different things how to work in the software. So like from that I created this like first project that later I showcased in my portfolio. And even when interviewing at Adobe, even though I had already like some other projects in my portfolio, I still I always show this one because even though it's not perfect in any like way, I feel that it was like an ideal playground for me, and I still cherish that experience, and I see some things that I would have done differently right now, but still I'm kind of excited about that first project.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Okay, so many things from that I want to talk about. That's great. So I guess one of my first questions is kind of you going from marketing to design. Are
Yeah.
there are there things from your marketing career and background that you picked up and can use in product design, and what are maybe some of those?
Oh my God, absolutely. I'm actually excited that I have this background because like being able to work with metrics, being able to work with different like product and marketing KPIs and understand how like design can solve those, that's really super helpful. And to be honest, I feel that product design is still such a young field, and there are a ton of like different designers with all of their different experiences and backgrounds and degrees or no degrees at all. So each way and like each path is quite unique to it. So I think that like being able to work in marketing and like master the storytelling part of it, and like being close to the numbers and analytics, I think that's definitely helpful like right now to like better articulate my design decisions and like collaborate better with product owners, with like product marketing managers and engineers as well. So I do cherish this background. I think that's super helpful right now.
Yeah, no, I love that answer. And I totally agree. I think there's so I went to school for graphic design, turned into product design, all those things. And I think something that I never really like grasped until much later in my career was like the communication skill, how to communicate and understand people outside of design. And I think that's such an important skill set that they don't teach designers, and you got to actually learn it and experience it in a different capacity as a marketer. And so the fact that you can bring that in is like a game changer. And that's really awesome. And I totally value that skill set that you were able to learn.
Agree. Yeah, that's super helpful. Yeah.
Yeah, like way helpful. Like knowing KPIs and numbers. I feel like designers are like, oh, that's not important to us, but it's so important. Designers have to know all of these things. They have to understand the business, and be able to
Yeah.
communicate to stakeholders how their decisions are making a difference to the company. So yes,
That's
I love
true.
that.
Yeah.
That's great. And so my next question about your kind of story of getting into design is being self-taught. So 2020 pandemic, a lot of people did make the pivot, and some did boot camp, some went back to school. So what was your decision to decide to do it on your own and be self-taught?
Yeah, that's a good question. I consider different like paths as well. I considered going back to school or doing some boot camp or like having this self-taught option as well. So like I think there is no, like only right way to do this career switch. So again, like each pathway is like unique to product design. And so for me, I understood that I already had like years of experience working with like in tech, with product managers, with designers. And I think I had a lot of like soft skills and just the whole understanding of the like product roadmap. So I did not think that it will be, like valuable for me to go back to school for a couple of years because I thought that I can like work on that experience that I already had and just like teach myself some like hard skills that I did not have back then. So like essentially how to like work in like Figma and other instruments. So that was like my initial goal. And I think that I know that a lot of like designers went through boot camps, and I think that's a really like great opportunity to like learn the whole product design process as well. And so I definitely considered that. But after like researching and like reviewing their like schedule and everything, I like immediately learned that like probably I will need like only maybe 15% of that like whole boot camp agenda. So I do not need like everything. I need only like specific things. And so I just listed them and started to like learn very practical things. And that's why like YouTube was my like main instrument to learn, because like YouTube is amazing. So I don't know, like for everything. So like right now having this experience of being self-taught, it's actually super helpful to tackle every like challenge in like life as well. So if I do not like know how to do something, I can go and research and watch like YouTube video or go to Medium and like read an article like about something like new, and that's super helpful. So like for me that was, I think, the optimal way. I will not say that this was like the only way for me. I think I might have been like pick a grad school and like will be super happy to like spend those like intense couple of years completely like focused on education. That would be wonderful too. Or choosing a boot camp, that's wonderful opportunity as well. So I just picked this and like this way, and I'm really happy that I did, and I think it kind of like worked out.
Yes, yes. Oh, thank you for all that information. I think what's really interesting about what you said was like you kind of assessed your skill set and you took like a step back. You're like, where am I in my career and what do I need? And you recognized that a lot of those skills you already had, and what we were talking about, the skills, how they transferred from marketing to design. So like you felt like you wouldn't get as much out of maybe a full course because of what you already knew. And so you focused on the skill set you needed, and that's what you learned. And yeah, YouTube. And I also think what's really interesting about what you said is like how you can apply this self-taught skill set and how you did that to like many parts of your life, not just design. And I think that's definitely super interesting today. And maybe my question to you is like, the design field's changing it's always changed a lot, but right now it's like insane, right?
Yeah.
So many new technologies, AI, like everything like that's coming out right now. So I feel like how I guess my question is, I'm trying to think of my question. How do you feel like your self-taught skill set and how to learn is helping you today?
Yeah, that's a really great question, and I like completely agree that like nowadays the industry is moving super fast, and you need to be aware of all of the like trends that are happening like right now. And I think I use like the same approach for my daily work. So if I do not like know something about like the project that I'm currently working on, I can go and like read and research or like watch a video. So sometimes it can be like very small, tactical thing that I do not understand in the software. And then you go to YouTube or other sources and you have a ton of valuable information and you can, like do it right away. So I think like nowadays, and that might like also change the course of like the whole educational system, because like if you have this like skill of how to like learn, of how to teach yourself things, I think you can basically master any like discipline or like any like land any job you want. Because like for example, getting through the interview process, I think that's a skill as well. And so I spent a ton of time like mastering that skill. So my first interviews were terrible because I did not know how to present myself. And so I did spend, a time to like master that. So I think I'm like now using the same approach for literally anything. Like I can like use this for my hobbies like oil painting or tennis or something like that, or like cooking. So in any field of the life, I think that's really helpful to like learn how to teach yourself.
Yes. Ah, that was great. Everything you said was great. Yeah, I think it's like education is more accessible, right? Like all you need is the internet and like you could learn anything. There's no reason you can't. There's no blockers, which is awesome, which is a really amazing thing that we have today. So yes,
Yeah.
that's wonderful. Okay, so one of my last questions about your kind of intro is this case study, this project that you worked on. I have questions about like how you presented it in your current position, because I think that's really interesting. And I think maybe it like you did this project on your own, which first I encourage everyone. That's what I tell like designers trying to get out there, like just work on a personal project, like learn, that's it. And it sounds like that's what you did and you were able to learn everything. But I love that you still use it today. And so how did you present it? You talked a little bit about like what you would do differently now, or kind of like looking back, but I'm just curious. That's interesting that you're able to still kind of reference that specific project today.
Yeah, that's a good question. So I usually like when I do like the portfolio presentation, I have like a couple of like real projects that I did for like the real company. And also I always like mention this like passion project or student project. And I'm very like open about like this project being my like first project, and that it's not, it was not associated with any like client or something like that. So I'm just like openly telling that this was my playground. So that's how I learned. And I make sure I have like a couple of minutes to address some of the things that I would have done differently right now, like based on my like real work experience. And I know that like the design process in real life is not that like straightforward, as simple, as it like as I reflected in my like student work. Because I did not have any obstacles, I did not have any limitation like work or like time or like engineering resources to actually execute those, or like the real like work problems. So I'm really like open to talk about that I know that like this is a like an ideal project that I did. And definitely like in real life, things are never going to be the way like you envisioned them, and that's totally okay. So you need to adapt to all of the things that come across.
Yeah, totally. And I think it says a lot. I feel like presenting this project, this passion project, also gives them an insight into you as a person. So being self-taught obviously is something that's important that you can talk about, and just kind of like showcasing like things personally, which I think a lot of times people in going into interviews don't do. It's like they don't show their personality as much. And I think that's really a big thing that people look for in interviews, is like a culture fit, which is outside of just the work they do. So I think that was
Absolutely agree. I think it's really it's okay to show your like vulnerability, that you are not like expert in any single thing. So when I interviewed, I always mentioned that I still like consider myself on this like learning path. So I still learn a ton about like visual design because I do not have this like degree or like background. So I have this like background in marketing, which is super helpful, but I still I'm willing to learn more. And like sometimes I do not feel very like comfortable in like visual design part of product design. And like that's why I'm still like trying to like teach myself more and more about like this specific area that I still like see the potential for my like professional growth.
Yes, yes, love it. Yeah, totally. And I think that's important to show your vulnerabilities and to say, I want to continue to grow. That says so much about you. So that's great. So I guess kind of like a segue question for you is kind of starting from this 2020 journey, you becoming a product designer to today, where you are an experienced designer at Adobe Express. So what is that? What does it mean by experienced designer specifically? And like, how have you evolved since kind of from where you were to where you are today?
Yeah, absolutely. So 2020, that was like the year that changed a lot of things, obviously. And so um, back at that time, I joined a startup, and that was really like helpful for me to join this very early stage startup where I can, bring both my like marketing background and like new product design skill set, and I help them with like pretty basic things at first. So they did have their lead product designer, and so I helped him a lot. And like to be honest, he was like my like mentor, and like he was so helpful. And that was a really like great opportunity for me to learn like how the product design is really like set up in this like startup environment where a lot of things are not like perfect, in terms of like the processes, like it's very like fast paced. So that was a great like challenge for me to tackle. And so like at first I started with some like somewhere in between like marketing in and design. So like I helped with presentations, like pitch decks or like banners or landing pages. And then eventually I like pick up some of their like more of a product design tasks, and I tackle them. And I constantly was in communication like with the lead designer, like slash my mentor, and that helped a lot as well. So I've been there for a year and a half before like joining Adobe, and I think that like being at a startup, it has its like good parts and bad parts. Obviously, like the good part is that you have the ability to um, try yourself, like your experience in a lot of like different things, so you can help with all of the different things, because like usually there are so many like projects and tasks, like the backlog is huge, so you can just go out there and like try your best to like deliver as soon as possible. And that is a good like school, I think, of life and like work as well. Like being able to like deliver in such, like limited resources, it's definitely helpful. And like going forward to Adobe, I think actually my experience in marketing and in a startup, that actually helped me to land this job, because I work in a growth team. So I'm a growth designer, and so this is quite a new like field, I would say, in product design, like the growth design itself. And it's kind of like combination between like all of the different things. So you launch the experiments, you like see how they perform, and then you like collaborate with other like teammates to make sure that like those learnings are like set this like project to success and like help users to like tackle some challenges that they currently have. So that was a really interesting path from like startup to being a growth designer in a like larger company.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Thank you for all of that knowledge and like walking us through. That was super interesting. And I feel like, I guess what's interesting from what you said is you're in like a startup within a large company, right? Because you are growth, so you are still, it sounds like, doing like the little experiments and putting stuff out there and seeing what happens. And then I'm not sure if this is what you do. I don't know if it's like once it feels like it has momentum, you hand it off to another team. But it does kind of feel like you're still in a little bit of a startup world, which sounds like that was really helpful for you to get the job because of your experience coming from that space.
Exactly. I think that it's actually like one of the most interesting things in like in the industry is that your own like unique experience can be super helpful for like this very unique position. So like to be honest, when I was interviewing, I interviewed like with different companies and I got a ton of like rejections because I was not like really their perfect match, and that's totally fine. And like I think with like my current role is it was just a great combination of like my skill set, my past experience, which is kind of like unusual, and also like with the like goals and like requirements for this specific role, so it's kind of matched, and that's the like best part. So that's why I am like encouraging other designers to dig like deeper into their like background, their like personality, all of the things that matter to them, how they might you know, like present themselves as like this unique personality, like with this unique skill set and background, because I'm definitely sure that one like company would be very, you know, thrilled to have as like specifically you in their team. So that's a perfect match.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes, yes. I think that I think that knowing who you are and what you want and feeling confident, and also we talked about like sharing that passion and like
Hmm.
a little bit more about you is really important. And it sounds like that's what you're doing. You're encouraging designers to be themselves, to maybe dive deep and understand who they are, what they want. And if they're rejected, there's many factors involved in it, and it's like it wasn't that perfect fit, or maybe it was, and that means you have to learn and grow and get better at presenting and interviewing. Like there's just so many things you can take away from that experience.
Absolutely agree. Yeah, 100%.
So we're talking about a little bit, I think we started talking about how you help other designers, and so you're a mentor right now. You're
Yeah.
mentoring at ADP List, and so what made you want to become a mentor?
Oh, that's a good question. I think like I mentored before in like my like marketing role as well, and I always like felt this like need to help other people, and not only like career wise. Like I'm an immigrant, and so like for me this like path was kind of like challenging, you know, to learn a lot about like new country, new culture, like language, and all of the things that comes with it. And so I like do like mentor people, not like only for like career related topics, but like how to like adjust to a new like culture, new role, like new career sometime. Yeah, so that was like always like in me, and I'm really excited to help other people to you know, like pursue their like dream job or dream country. I encourage them to do this uh like shift and like transition, because it might feel scary, and I think that like here is my role in this process, like to eliminate like try to eliminate this like fear of unknown, like um try to make sure that this path is like getting more like clearer for the next person who would be, you know, transitioning, like switching from marketing to design. because like there are like some steps you will take them, and like eventually you would be like doing better and better, and eventually it will work out. So like helping people to realize that it's not that impossible to do. So I think like mentorship, it's kind of interesting position because you like, yes, you can talk about like hard skills and like presenting skills and all of the other skills, but it's also about like psychology and like discussing like the fears, like being vulnerable and showing how like your previous experiences, like both good and bad, like led you to this like current position. Because when I was like interviewing and when I like saw all of their like amazing portfolio presentations and like those LinkedIn profiles of designers, and I thought that I never be, you know, in the position that they're at. And I have this like passion to eliminate this like gatekeeping as much as possible, and to show that you do not need to have like this very like, you know, specific and only one like way journey to their like career or life you want to. There are a ton of different ways, and like I am the example of it, and I'm just enjoying like encouraging people to like try to make those changes for themselves.
I feel the passion from you. I think that's wonderful. And yeah, I think that it's really important to be able to share your story, because I mean, I think you mentioned it a little bit at the beginning, like storytelling and marketing background, like being able to tell your story and being able to like lean into your story is really powerful. And not even just to get a job, but just in life in general. And so I feel like you're more than just like a mentor. You're like a like a design therapist or something. Like you're really helping designers like get deep inside of themselves and understand. And I think you also are leading by example. And so you have these personal experiences that you can share. And that's like, yeah, that's amazing. That's really exciting. I
Thank
absolutely love
you.
that. Yeah. And I guess for the listeners out there, because we haven't taken a mentor session with you, but what was your decision to come to the US and to kind of decide to be here and build a life here?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I originally I'm from Moscow, Russia, and I've been working in marketing like for quite some time there. I built my career. I worked in like a large tech company back there, and then I just had this like random opportunity to join a fintech startup in US to be their like marketing manager. So I got through the interview process and I got the offer, and I could not believe that like that was happening. And so I just like took a chance, and I was like, I'm extremely grateful for that, you know, like first opportunity, like the first job offer in the United States. And I worked with that company for a year and a half, and that was like the most interesting and challenging experience. And so that's totally like it was very, I would say, educational for me as well, because even though I had like years of like my career in marketing, like it was totally like different. So I still like needed to learn a lot. And so that was like I think the first you know, big break for me, to be in the new country and like learning a lot of things about like this industry that I've been working for a while, but still it was like so new for me. So yeah, basically that was like this one job offer that got me here, and then I worked with that startup, and then like with another one, and then with agency, before I finally made this switch to product design.
Wow, that's like inspirational. Like you were just like happened upon it and then you got it and then you're like, oh my God, I guess I need to do it, right? And like,
Yes,
and I think that's
it
like
was super
great.
scary.
Yes. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Like, I feel like that's definitely something you can bring into this mentor conversations. It sounds like you do, is like making that jump, and you're like, no, the unknown is terrifying. And going to a new place with a new culture and a new language, like, oh my gosh, I can't even imagine. And that's like very brave of you to like come here to the US and like build this life. But it sounds like you're still here. So it sounds like you're happy to be here and you've integrated in your own way. And now you can help other people like feel more confident and comfortable making that transition.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you so much. I feel really like welcomed here and happy. And I specifically love to like help people with like different career paths, like non-traditional backgrounds, like underrepresented minorities, like immigrants, refugees. So all of those like people with some like challenges in their life, because like it's really hard to like overcome those challenges, and like sometimes you are so like afraid of like starting some like new things, and you feel like that you are not really good to be like to land this new like job in a new country. So it really takes time to, of course, like adjust to a new like culture and like language and stuff. But I think that like your previous background is definitely like valuable, even though it was like with another like industry or country or like different language. It doesn't really matter. You still had those like experience, and you still have that skill set that you can you just need to adjust it to this like new environment. And yes, it takes time, but eventually it will work out.
Yes. Yeah, I feel like that's really inspirational for all the listeners out there that or maybe are going through something similar, like trying to make that switch or going to a different country, or even thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like good to know like you can do it. It is possible. It's scary, obviously, but it's
Yeah.
if it makes sense, you got to make the jump and try it out. So yeah, that's very inspirational. I love that. I
Thank
love
you.
that. So, um, I think kind of like I want to kind of segue to more of like maybe where you are now and where you're planning on going in the future. And I think one of those questions is like where you are now is how do you continue to stay inspired and continue to like be able to grow? So obviously you've been able to make all of these jumps and you're really successful and things are going great. And like, where do you see yourself and how do you continue to feel like you're going on the path that you set for yourself?
Yeah, that's a wonderful question. I think about that a lot. And to be honest, like after like jumping so much and like having so like much career like changes and life changes, I think like finally I'm in this place that I'm super comfortable. I would love to like stay and grow at this like specific like team and company. So I'm really thrilled about like the culture and like working with my teammates. It's like so far, it's been an amazing experience. So I've been with Adobe only 3 months now. So like I'm still quite new, but I don't know, like it felt like I like discovered my perfect spot for like my personal and career growth. And like right now I'm working on like very like fascinating projects, and I'm working alongside with amazing people, amazing teammates, and that's like super inspirational. And so I think like for me product design is this very like interesting and constantly changing field, and I think you never get bored with everything that is happening in product design. And I also I feel so like valuable here, and like bringing this past experience and um like working on like those like new experiments that like we're launching, that's super super inspirational. So I definitely want to like grow my career here, and I want to learn from like my teammates and from other like designers in the industry as well. So I'm really excited about like the whole design community. I think it's super like open and it's super friendly, and so that's really lovely to to be a part of this community. So I definitely want to grow more in this like product design field, like be like basically growing like in my career and mastering my craft. And I also want to have I want to continue to mentor and to help like others from like design community, and not only like designers but just in general people who are like wanting to make such like career transition or like immigrate to another country or something like that. So I still want this to be a big part of my life. So I feel that I have like these two big like areas of focus, like first of all my like design career and mastering this design craft, and also like helping others and mentoring. So I'm thinking about like doing something in like content creation. So I have not decided like what that would be. So maybe like a Medium blog or YouTube channel, like something that will help more people, because like with a mentorship it's wonderful, but you can help only like so many people. But with content creation, like with what you are doing with this podcast, that might help like much more people. So I'm definitely considering like going like that content creation path as well.
Yeah, well, I'm so excited to follow your journey. I like it. I just like, I can feel the excitement and the passion. I said that before, but like, it's like coming out of you. And I feel like you're in such a great place, and that's amazing. And I also think from my conversation with you that I've learned about you is you always want to be growing and pushing yourself. And so I think it's great that you said like, hey, I really feel like I found this company, and like you're like, okay, now that I'm here, I want to grow and I want to continue to like learn and craft my skill. And that's like amazing. I feel like some people are like, oh, I feel great, like I'm good, but you're like, let's keep going, let's keep going. And the mentor side, yeah, like I feel like when this podcast comes out, we'll definitely link to like your ADP mentor page, because I feel like a lot of these listeners are going to get a lot of value and want to schedule that time, and looking forward to what's next of content creation or how you can continue. I feel like your experience is, you've had a lot of very interesting experiences that other people are probably looking for someone that they can go to for that. So I'm excited to follow on your journey. So yeah, thank you so much for chatting with me and like telling me a little bit about your story and where you come from and what you're looking for, and also kind of some tips and tricks about interviewing and portfolios and self-teaching. So yeah, I really enjoyed, and thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me here again. Like what you're doing with the podcast, it's such a great mission. So I'm super excited to be here, and I'm super grateful for you doing this. So thank you so much for having me here. And yeah, I will definitely like follow the next episodes with next guests as well. It's super interesting. Thank you so much.